is how I play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Bro, Phil.
Hmm?
How the fuck did you not know the camera was on? You know what I'm
Well,
talking about.
I wasn't going to talk about this, but
I did. What the fuck, man? I mean, come on.
Sadly, when it happened, I tried to
What the
spin
fuck?
it. I tried to spin it in a very positive light, and I rolled with it. It's one of the rare times where I learned in my life you roll with it and it'll go away. It never went away, but at least people, you know, it's just something funny now, right? Imagine if I had reacted to that the same way I reacted to "This Is How You Don't Play." Like, that would have been the end for me. Like, if this guy, what's he gonna say? He didn't do it, or whatever. Of course, yeah, it happened. It's something stupid. But the truthful story, sadly, is not happy. Okay. Here's the truth. I've told it before, but never in this context. So in 2016, it was probably the second worst year of my life. Everything was falling apart in my personal life. I moved out here to Washington. I used to live in Connecticut my whole life. I moved to Washington in 2014 with my then girlfriend. Our relationship was great. Over the course of 2 years of systematic harassment on the internet, being swatted, doxxed, all this stuff, her family members being harassed, my family members being harassed, our whole relationship fell apart.
It's not me, it's the trolls.
Okay? In 2016, I was living with her, and we had two separate lives. It was like two roommates rather than a romantic relationship. It was messed up. Like, we were supposed to be together, and we're really not. It got to the point where she went off and had her own life. She had her own friends, her own job. I was doing my thing. But no one knew this. Everyone thought everything was fine. We pretended, we smiled, whatever. No one knew that. I was depressed. I was really messed up in the head at that point. The way that I saw it was, this room was the only place in the house where she never went. She never came in here. Okay? So this room was like my safe space. I know that sounds stupid, but it was like, this is the one place I can be away from that. And I can have my own safe place. And in particular, I couldn't tell you the specific day when it happened, but I guarantee you it was something awful that happened, an argument, a fight, whatever it was. And I came in here, and back then, I was very different than today. I'm professional. I have layouts blocking the screen and everything. Back then, I just had, you know, my
You got
dashboard.
like a couch in the corner that you
Exactly.
can go do that now.
Yeah, so I had the camera had been left on from the day before. Back then, I didn't do face cam like I do today. Today, this is a common thing to have the face cam on every single stream. Back then, it was a rarity. I only did it for like FromSoft games where I was going to get really upset. People like to see me rage on camera, right? So that, again, that meant that dark side Phil character. I left it on. And so I come in here, and I'm feeling like I feel awful, like probably depressed, awful thing. And I beat one off to relieve myself before a stream.
That was my depression.
And then it's all over the internet. And I'm like, oh, the camera was on, huh?
So it was depression.
Oops. It was part of
Essentially.
it. It was definitely part of it. Like, obviously, you don't sit down in front of why would you even do that? I mean, what an idiot to do that, even in a situation, but it was probably something so horrible, another argument. There's many of those.
So you said the camera was on, and then you started the stream and then did that? Or like you were prepping for a stream, but the camera was on, so it just happened?
Yes. So basically, I
I have a
on
question. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to walk my through. Okay. What was the lead time between starting the stream and completion? Because that's pretty fucking impressive. I'm just kidding.
Not long. Not long, man. It was, I would turn on the stream. I call it the pre-stream roll or whatever. So you had
No,
to see
I
the
don't-
message.
I really don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care.
the pre-stream
The
roll.
pre-stream roll. The whole
Oh my
routine.
god.
Oh Lord. All right.
So it's
that's
a normal
awesome.
thing.
No, it's not. Obviously, no. It wasn't.
You got a name for it, Phil. You got a name for it.
The time that I turn on the stream to let people come into the stream.
Oh, thank
is called
God.
the pre-stream.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
That's not a
'cause-
routine I do every day. No, no,
That's-
no.
I mean, it'd be a hell of a pre-show. I'm just saying. Like,
So here's
you
the
could probably,
thing,
hey, you could monetize, as our friends from Geeks and Gamers say, you could monetize the haters. You could
Right.
start a wicked OnlyFans, Phil. I'm just saying, a wicked OnlyFans.
That is nasty.
Phil, you still there? You look like you're frozen.
Did we lose him?
I hope not. Oh, well, if he drops, well, he can come back in.
I mean, I don't believe him. I mean, I don't. It's just too many things. I mean, I caught him live, and then he admitted like a minute later that I was right. And it's just like, man, that your whole credibility was already shaky, and
Keemstar is going to join us to give his side of the thing. And
shit,
when Phil hops in,
oh my god,
we'll see. Like I said, I don't want to make this weird for Phil, but I do think that while we have a second, we'll bring Keemstar in. Keemstar has the link, and he should be joining us any minute.
right.
Keemstar is joining us. Hello, Keemstar. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Good. It's
up,
nice to meet you. You guys have absolutely crushed this. I think you've done more than a fair job with Phil here, and especially like how difficult he is. But with him talking about the $50,000 offer and the Lol Call podcast, I just really wanted to get on to say my piece because he's just dishonest. And I think you guys experienced this, right? He had an opportunity to clear his name so easily, and he just put it off and made excuse, and then goes on to bring up some other situation with hookers and some other lies. And it's like every content creator has been lied about, right? But in this one issue where he could just prove his innocence so quick and he doesn't take advantage of it, then it's like, and
I told him it's just making you more sus. Like that, it's making me trust your story less. That you're not like, you know what? I want to fucking prove this. Like I'm sick of these lies. Let's prove it. You know.
Well, I'll say this. Look, Keem, we appreciate you hopping on. Phil has rejoined us. Phil said he didn't want to be on the show if you were on it. So I'll say, can we invite you back on after we're done with Phil?
Sure. Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna bring Phil back on. We don't want to make things weird. So
Then I guess I'm a beggar. And you know what? I think I'd rather be a beggar than a Keemstar.
I want to circle back to like the business expenses because we talked about the 5K. We talked about that. And but we didn't really get an answer, right? Like, and this kind of all ties in together. The idea of like, as somebody who works online, I've been doing this for a long time as well. I understand that spending 5K on anything is a lot, and the idea of a mortgage being a business expense, that's not necessarily true. You can from a tax perspective, you can allow me to tell you, because from a tax perspective, you can take the square footage of your office space in your house, and that can be deductible, right? And you can use that as a business expense. You can take the internet and do those things, but your entire house, your entire mortgage is not something that can be a business expense, right? So I didn't think that was
legal. I don't think that's legal.
Right, it's not. It's not the way it goes. But with all that said, I feel like there's with everything lined up, right? There's still a lot. Like, are you spending that money on food, or what are you spending that money on? Because you can pay for meals out and things like that as long as you technically talk about business. And I've done that hundreds of times where you go out to a meal and you say, well, we're gonna have a business meeting, and it's just you and your wife talking about whatever, right? It's just one of those things. But walk me through once again, like what are your month-to-month business expenses? What are you paying for as a streamer who works 12 hours a day? Kind of walk me through this.
Well, again, I could tell you what I'm doing now. I mean, we're talking, what people are referencing is something from like 2019, I think, right? Is that a tax return for my
but I want to know about today. Like your expenses that you have on a month-to-month basis. What do those look like? Are your expenses?
You know what? How about this? Give me 1 second.
Sure, do your thing. Yeah, this should be fun. All right, Phil is off, and it looks like, I wonder what this could be a surprise. We'll see what happens.
I'm an old man. Okay?
Yes.
I do something that no one else does. I use paper and I write on it to track things. No one else does this, right?
Now hold on, Phil. Before you show anything, I want to.
I'm not going to show. I'm going to read some things. Don't worry, I'm not going to show anything. I'm going to read some things. What I'd like to do is kind of go through here, because people say every day, where does your money go? Here we go. I'm going to go through this. I'm not exaggerating. Line for line, this is what I'm paying this month, and this is where all my money goes, plus a few other things. Okay, and this is literally all of it.
Great.
I have a subscription to Hulu. It's $10 a month.
Business expense. Okay.
Definitely not a business expense. I'm just saying this is where my money goes. This is everything. I'm serious. I'm going to cover it all.
Okay. Sure.
I have my internet. I have 2 internet lines that I pay for. They're very expensive because they're unlimited internet. I've got, let's see here. Game Pass.
But you're reading off personal expenses, and that's no one's business.
Right. I'm reading off everything. I don't care. I'm reading off everything so you know where my money goes. Because this is what they want. They want to know where all my money goes. I'm going to tell you right now.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think it was about the $5,000, the business expenses, that they were like, what is going on with this? Like, how is this the case? So you're now giving them more shit when you were seemingly very nervous about giving anyone any more information that isn't public. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to, before you continue, it just seems like this is counterintuitive for where you have said your stance is on like revealing public information. So like,
well, I'm not going to tell you any account name. I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I get that, but still, it's still personal stuff. That it's like, all right, well, I don't understand that's not what the subject was about. Right. It was about the business expenses.
Right.
These aren't business expenses that you're reading off. It's personal stuff.
Some of this would be considered business, and some wouldn't. You know, like I was just gonna say, Game Pass.
But what's the point? Is kind of where I'm leaning. Like, what is the reason for giving us your personal expenses?
Because people want to know where my money goes. You're asking me
your business, the business expense money. That's what they're talking about. That's what I've seen on the internet. That's what I've seen that people are upset. There's the business expenses, the 5,000, and then like I don't know where this like $500,000 thing is or what that even is. But there's some questions.
$500,000.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard. I've seen. I didn't look into that much because I have multiple shows that I do, and I couldn't dedicate too much to learning about you. So I figured I'd come and just hear from you. But like. That's from what I've seen. It's the business expenses that's what people want to know about. Like, how are you spending that much money on the business?
Here's the thing: if you were to nickel and dime every single transaction I do, when it comes to like video games and stuff like that, I don't think it gets close to that. I think I don't know how it was divvied out in those, in that report or whatever they used for the bankruptcy. I don't know how it's calculated. I'm not my bankruptcy attorney. I'm not my CPA. I know it's done right because I went through it with the bankruptcy judge, line by line. So
is that where that large number comes from? Is the bankruptcy number like how much debt you had?
Oh,
I'm trying to take a. Oh, you know, right? I mean, if that's what
I don't know the total number of debt.
Seems like a pretty big moment in your life that you would know.
I know. I never. It's not a milestone. Oh man, I'm so happy. I got $500,000 off my back.
I'm not saying it's a good milestone.
No, it's a horrible milestone. Something I want to move past and forget and get, put in the past. But I don't know. Maybe that's what that number is. But again, I don't know.
That's 100% a lie.
All right. I don't want to talk about shit, but I have to. It sucks.
Well,
no, you don't. You said like 30 minutes ago you don't give a shit, and it doesn't make a difference. So pick a point. Pick a place to stand.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
Either you don't give a shit and you're gonna move on and let the haters hate you no matter what because there's nothing you could do, or try to appease them. It's not. You can't be somewhere in the middle where you're like, I might appease you. I might actually do this. I'll think about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Adam, I don't care
one
about
or the other.
I care about you guys. I care about my viewers. I care about these neutral parties out there who've heard so much nasty stuff about me. At least have a place to listen and hear my side. That's what this is. And I appreciate you guys so much for giving me this time. I really do. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional now thinking, but, all right, I'm just going to, fuck this. I'm going to do it. All right, I'm going to tell you a few things that no one knows without specifics. Okay, so it doesn't really put anyone under the bus or anything. I've been involved in a few different, legal things over the years. I've been involved with medical issues, my own health and my wife's. All right, and it's not stuff I should talk about with my audience. I don't want my audience to come to my stream and be like, I want to give you a tip because I found out that you have maybe a medical issue or something going on. That's no one's business. I've said to let me explain. I said to my audience, if you're going to come to a DSP Gaming or a DSP React stream, please come support me because you like me and my content. Okay? Don't come support me because you want to stick it to the haters. I don't want that pity party. Keep that, let them celebrate whatever. Come and just support me for my content. If I tell you stuff that's going on that are expenses, medical expenses, legal expenses, and it's, again, I'm not going to tell you, I have some medical conditions.
How's the gout, Phil?
Oh my God, here's another one. How's the gout, Phil? Another idiot. This is great.
How's the gout?
How's the gout?
This is your forum. This is your forum, Phil, right? If there's some sort of like medical condition that is causing you to live, paycheck to paycheck or stream to stream, you pride yourself on transparency. I can't think of anything more transparent than just telling your audience you have, something going on. And like, you know what? People are people and they'll understand that. Like if God willing, I came out and I had cancer or something bad happened, I would.
It's not that. It's definitely not that. Okay. I don't want to make anyone think that I'm trying to, again, this is not a pity party here.
Right.
It's not that. I have a few chronic lingering things that come back over the years. And then, yes, there's a medical cost. There's deductible, of course, you have to pay to a certain amount. But in a nutshell, I've been involved with a few legal things. And I've been involved with some medical things, okay? And essentially what's happened over the years is I can't really pay them because of the financial situations that I've been in, okay? And
did you pay any of those things as business expenses?
I believe, and I don't know if this is true or not. Isn't it true that certain, like your health insurance premiums and stuff is covered or is a tax deductible? I don't know. Again, I get asked this by my tax guy. I do. He says,
your tax guy was asking you this?
He said, I just got an email the other day that said, we need your breakdown of what you pay for premiums, if you had any medical expenses, if you had any of this, we need all this to file your taxes properly.
It doesn't sound right, dude.
I don't know. Again, no, listen, please. Here's the problem. I don't want people going on my tax guy. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. He's a professional.
But he clearly doesn't, because even in
It
tax
doesn't
issues,
sound like it.
No,
Like-
no. My tax issues are not, or from before this shit. They really are. I used to have tax issues with an old account. You might be getting the stories mixed. I used to have an old guy who fucked everything up. This person I have now has fixed everything. Okay? I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. This guy is great. And I want people to understand that. Okay? But basically, okay, I have a few ongoing things. When you don't have credit anymore, okay, but you still owe, some things can get erased, some things can't, all right, by a bankruptcy or whatever. And I'm in a situation where I have ongoing costs that I'm on payment plans for. Okay? Not, oh, a credit card. I can't get a credit card. I have no credit. My credit sucks because I have bankruptcy. No, I have payment plans. So, for example, I incur a legal cost of several $1,000s. Okay, Phil, you don't have to pay that today. You can pay it slowly over time. Here's your payment plan. Right? With the IRS, I owe them back taxes. Phil, we understand. As long as you're in repayment status, you're paying this amount every month. This is, you know what I mean? So that's where my money goes. I'm embroiled in all these ongoing things behind the scenes that absolutely no one needs to know about. Medical stuff, legal stuff that I'm going through, and tax stuff. And where does your money go?
I remember I spent money pulling.
And then just think about this. I'm streaming 6 days a week full time. I'm stressed some days, you know? And then I got to come on my stream and hear, you blew all your money on mobile games. My wife and me are feeling so much stress with this going on. And, you know, we didn't go on a honeymoon when we got married. We haven't been on a trip since 2019. We haven't done anything.
Phil, I get it. We understand, which is why, you know, we talked about therapy. We've talked about all these things. We understand, right? We've talked about all these things. But you still haven't answered the question. I'm going to ask you this really directly, okay? On a month-to-month basis, how much money are you spending on WWE mobile games and or any other mobile games on a month-to-month basis? Are you spending on iTunes or any sort of mobile device?
Okay.
Just a straight dollar amount. Whatever it is, it's okay.
Okay. Do you want? Okay. This month, I have spent probably $10 to $15.
Unbelievable.
That is an honest answer. And by the way, it wasn't on WWE Champions.
Okay. What was it on? Just curious.
Well, here we go. Because you know, if I tell you, they're just going to blow it up. They're going to.
No. Okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Then. Don't worry about it. If
they
you say
already said it's a new game. It's a Street Fighter game.
Ah. Okay. The new Street Fighter one. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it good?
It's all right. It's one of those, you build a team of fighters, they fight against each other. It's not, you don't even actively play.
It's like tap RPG. Crap.
Similar, yes.
Okay.
And that was just for experimental purposes. I'm not playing it a lot. I'm playing every once in a while. You know, I spend I'll spend $1 and get a bunch of stuff, you know. So I spend a couple dollars here or there. And of course, I will get destroyed for saying that I spent $15 on it, you know. I will. I'm going to get destroyed for it.
So let me kind of move this along. We've been going for a long time, and thank you again, Phil, for your time. Appreciate it. We're approaching 4 hours. I got a few things that I want to make sure we hit on before we go.
Sure.
Before we, you know, can move forward. So, number one, Keem is here, and Keem has said that he will be respectful, and he would love to talk. I think this is a tremendous opportunity to bury whatever hatchet or whatever it is you guys have and mend a fence. I think this is a tremendous opportunity. Are you open to that?
If you want him on the show to talk, I'm not doing business with this man under any circumstances.
Yeah, you established that. That's fine. That's not what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm not trying to broker a business deal or anything like that. But are you open to talking with him now?
I'm curious what he wants to talk about. I'm not being on his stuff. I refuse.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm going to bring him on. Right?
Wait. So you're okay with him coming on to talk?
As long as he's not going to sit here and insult me or do, you know, you guys have already asked me so many questions. I don't want him interrogating me too. It's your show, not his.
That's not.
Right.
I mean, Keem, you know, he's watching obviously, so it's like that's not the case. We're the interviewers. He just said it. He agrees.
Yeah, he agrees. So look, we're going to bring him on, and like I said, I think this is not a tremendous opportunity for friction. There's an opportunity to build a bridge. So let's do this real quick. Keemstar, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. And Phil, thank you for letting me on to talk to you directly. I do mean what I said here in the chat, that I will be respectful. I'm not here to interrogate you, but I desperately want to represent my point of view in this situation between me and you. Because what I've heard listening to this podcast or this interview or whatever you want to call it is you describing problems that you have in your life, paying bills, being harassed by, you know, your detractors or whatever. And I actively went out of my way to solve major problems in your life. And me and you are not friends. In fact, before I put together this business opportunity for you, me and you were fighting back and forth. It started with you on your podcast out of nowhere reacting to me retiring when I turned 40, and you said, well, that guy's evil, and all these horrible stuff and blood money, whatever you said about me, because you don't like my show Drama Alert. And many of your detractors picked up on right away that the reason why you don't like my show and you don't support me is because we covered the fapping situation in 2016.
Oh, that's completely untrue. Dude, you covered it fairly.
Go ahead, respond, Phil.
You covered it fairly. You didn't even really harp on it. One of your guys contacted me behind the scenes, said, do you have anything else to add? You want to be on the show? I was like, no. You covered it fairly. I don't think you were unfair at all. That's not the case.
Thank you, because I don't think I was unfair either.
No, not at all. Who told you that? That's bullshit. That's the detractors making shit up. I didn't know
everybody jumped to that conclusion why you had such a hateful response to me retiring was because of that. Because we have no previous history, Phil.
Correct.
I've never talked to you. The only interactions I've ever had with you is just covering this one story about you.
Mm-hmm.
And just, this is a great example of why I wanted to bring you on, because there's clearly a miscommunication somewhere along the lines, right? Clearly. So, Phil thought Keemstar did this, Keemstar thought Phil did this. All right. So we're in a better place, which is great.
So to move on from that, I see a clip and it's on Phil's stream. He's reacting to my retirement and he's saying I'm this horrible, evil person, and he doesn't support me. And I responded.
Hold on, Keem, is that true, Phil?
I don't know. I'm sure I criticized him. I don't know specifically what he's talking about yet.
Okay, continue.
I don't know exactly what was said. I'm going off of memory, but it was something along those lines. The clip gets sent to me by multiple people. So I respond to Phil because the only thing I know about Phil is him being a lol cow, right? Him on stream begging for money to pay rent and stuff like that. That's all I know about him. So I responded to him on Twitter, which I thought was pretty clever. In gaming terms, and I explained to him that we are roughly the same age. We've been doing YouTube for 15 years each. We started at the same time, and I'm retiring now, and I don't ever have to work again. So I have completed this video game of YouTube, and I said to Phil, "You're still on level 1."
I love it. I love it. I love begging.
All right, you're still on level 1 and you're restarting, level 1 over and over again like a video game, and you're getting nowhere. You're still at the point where you're begging people on stream to pay your bills and whatnot. And I thought that was a good response, right? Even though I am talking trash and, we got a little drama going on for Twitter and whatnot, I thought that I was actually giving you good advice. And,
yeah, I was going to say that
is that advice or is that more like, in
that
text
felt like
form,
a backhanded smack
right.
with internet Twitter battles,
100%,
Okay.
but it's also advice, right? My point in those Twitter videos was that Phil needs to do something different. Imagine you're playing a video game, you're on level 1 and you try the same technique over and over again, all right? And you're dying and you have to restart the level over. You're never going to beat level 1. And that's the situation that Phil has been in.
Right. And Phil, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like there's any truth to that, or do you feel like that Keemstar is out of his way to kind of make you look a fool?
Well, first of all, the best way to give life advice is to, say it in an insulting way, for sure. I mean, makes everyone very receptive to it, correct?
Right.
Well, fair point, but
slap it.
Let him finish, Game.
On Twitter. Is there some truth to it? Yes. Okay. But here's the thing: if you have a criticism of me, then criticize me fairly in a way where, maybe I have a chance to have a conversation. Instead, you just go to your platform and you say something nasty about me on there. I'm a tiny little guy, okay? When I say something on my stream, who hears it? A couple hundred people? Yes, my detractors then echo it. They extrapolate it all over the internet. Boom, it's amplified, correct? But I'm the little guy. You are a big guy, Keem. You're huge. You have a giant reach on the internet. Do you not understand that the stuff that you say and do has repercussions for everyone around you? You seem to be someone that...
You're not self-aware. That's like me, right? That's like me.
You don't understand that when you say something like that, now I have to live with that shit. For months on end, you're on level 1. Phil, level 1. You've been for 15 years, you're just on level 1. Do you think I need that? I already have enough shit in my life going on. So much stuff. I don't need Mr. Big Time punching down on me, which is what you do. That's why people don't like you, man.
I didn't
how
see
do you
it.
not understand that?
I didn't see it that way. I saw a clip of you talking all kinds of shit on me, unprovoked, and I just responded, talking shit back, but also giving you advice. That's the way I saw it. Anyhow, after that incident took place, months went by, and this bothered me because I saw the solution the entire time, that Phil needed to do something different, all right? I am a person that recognizes entertainment. I really, really get it. You got to understand, Phil, you have haters, you have detractors, so do I, but I have more. I have more than Wings of Redemption, DsP, and Boogie combined. I have way more haters, but I'm still successful. And I still have new business opportunities, and I'm still making money. I was supposed to retire a year ago, and I'm still doing new stuff and being successful in this platform.
I mean, I'll be honest, just like any other normal human, yes, am I jealous of certain people and of people who are successful and whatever? Of course I am. Of course I'm going to have jealousy. That's a natural human emotion for those who have more than you. You're always going to have that natural kind of jealousy of those who maybe have, been more successful or things like that.
Because I understand this business very, very well. And even though you have that hate, they are viewers. They are your customers. The detractors are your customers. The haters are your customers. And they're more loyal than the people that give you money, that donate on your stream. The people that hate you are way more
you're talking
loyal.
about, that's like, you can't pay for that.
I mean, look at how many people are here. 2,500 people are here. It's just, you have a legitimate fan base. Those haters, those people that don't like you are your fans. And I wanted to solve this issue for not just you, but Wings and Boogie. I looked at all of you guys, you're lolcows, right? You have more haters than like supporters, right? But really, they're all fans. They are all fans. They're all obsessed with you and watching your content nonstop. The solution really is to get the three of you to do a podcast, all right? Those haters are going to watch. They're going to absolutely love that these three guys have come together to make content. Now, between the three of you, you guys don't have the business sense to like really figure this out and make this thing actually happen, but I do. All right? And you guys don't even understand how valuable you are as individuals, as entertainers, because you look at the numbers and you're looking at everything and like, oh, well, I've fallen off. And, that's the mindset that you have, right? But I have a different mindset for each and one of you, that you guys are amazing entertainers, but just not in the way that you want to be, right? You're lolcows, but there's so much value there. By putting the three of you together and, each one of you would own 25% of this podcast, all right? We never got to have this conversation, so I do want to have it now, even though I know you're not going to do it, all right? I would also own 25%. I would do the business aspect of it. I've had many success selling podcasts to exclusive deals with Spotify and other companies, multi-million-dollar deals, all right? I wanted to put the three of you together for this show. I would do the business side of the things, and I knew that all three of you would be in a situation where you didn't really trust me, or you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, and you'd have a lot of doubts. So I was just going to take my own money and take $150,000, give you each, just to start off before we even filmed an episode, 50 grand up front to let you know that I was serious and I believe in this concept and this idea. Now, I call Boogie first. I instantly get on the phone with Boogie, all right? He loves the idea. He understands it. He gets it. He reaches out to Wings. Wings is down. And now it's time to talk to DsP. Boogie, the way I understand it, called you, contacted you, and told you what was going on, right?
He DM'd me on Twitter, and we had a brief conversation back and forth in DMs.
And he told you that I wanted to do a podcast with the three of you, right?
Yes, I had no idea that's what you were trying to contact me about because we never talked. But he said that there was this idea for a podcast, correct?
So you did know.
So Boogie told you or didn't tell you?
Boogie told me that he and Wings had spoken to Keem, and that Keem wanted to do a podcast with all three of us. No money or anything was discussed. He just said, he wants to do a podcast with all three of us. I didn't know that's what Keem was trying to reach out to me. I said maybe that's what it was. I didn't know because I never spoke with him. But when you look at how Keem made his money, okay? Again, I'm going off documentaries and things I've seen. I mean, Keem, you have to openly admit that there were a lot of things that you've done that you probably have no issue with whatsoever. You always feel from your perspective, because there's always two perspectives on everything, right?
Holy shit, Phil, I gotta say, this is fucking rich coming from you right now, though.
Yeah,
you're getting your information from the detractors that Keem has, and that's where you're basing this on. When this whole episode, you have been talking about how much your detractors have made other people think about you. Like, do you hear yourself right now?
Indeed, I do. That's the nature of the beast. That's how YouTube works, man. That's how all this works, right?
Fuck, man.
You're right. So, from what I've heard and seen about Keem, I call them a misery broker. All right? Keem, on a day when you have a good day, it's because someone else is having a bad day. Someone else has drama going on. Someone else has horrible things happening in their life. it's your good day, man. It's time for you to blow that up. And then you interject like a shoe wedge. Zoop, get into that life, get into that drama, right? You gotta be a part of it. And now get them on your show so that you can pull this out to be not just a one-time thing, but now it's going to be pulled on for weeks and weeks. If there's something,
Phil, do you know the internet at all? Do you know the internet at all?
Yes, I do.
Do you see who's successful on the internet? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, I would probably be more successful if I talked to people, but like I don't, and you know, like I do what I can because that's just where I'm at, you know. So it's like you can't be upset when people use the algorithms for their advantage, which Keem seems to have figured out.
You're right. And at one point I was a really stupid, jealous guy. Man, I feel like I'm putting out content that's not harmful to anyone. I'm just doing gameplay. I'm dicking around on the internet here with my viewers, and this guy gets over and he's doing this drama content. People are saying it's hurtful, you know. You're right. At the same time, everyone has what's called a moral compass, correct? And, you know, I've been talking about this on my streams recently. I was raised a Roman Catholic, all right? I'm not religious anymore, by the way. So this is not like an excuse, but I grew up with certain morals.
I'm not Mr. Morality here. Listen, I am no moral authority on anything, folks.
All right, and values. And to me, if the only way that I can get over on the internet or just get over in life is by stepping on other people, I'm not going to step on those people.
Can I ask Phil a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Phil, listen. All right, if me running Dromaler is like taking advantage of people's misery, right? Because the way I understand it, for how you're explaining it, is like a YouTuber will get canceled, and then I cover the story on my platform, or you know, you had the fappening, right? And I covered the story on my platform that I'm making money off of other people's downfalls, right? That's the way you see it.
Yes.
Well, there's people on YouTube that run documentaries on important things that happen on the internet. They're also in the same situation, correct?
What do you mean by that?
They're making money. They're making money on a newsworthy story on the internet.
Like factual reporting of things that are happening, like a news network? Like, what do you mean?
Of course. And then I inject my opinion on these stories as well. But there are YouTubers, right? They're commentators, and then there's commentators that do like documentary style stuff that cover drama on the internet. You're saying that every single one of them is accepting blood money because they're voicing their opinions on what's going on.
Well, simply voicing your opinion is one thing, Keem, but let's take a look at your history here. There's been documented cases where you've actually staged stuff and extrapolated drama in situations where it didn't really exist. There's evidence of this. People have admitted
Explain
to
that. Explain that.
Yeah, tell me more. I'm not aware of these.
The documentary I watched last year, but June the King made this one. And I guess there was a situation with a YouTuber, and I forget if he was a Minecraft YouTuber or another YouTuber. And, you know, originally he appeared supposedly as an upfront, honest guest on Keemstar's show covering this drama. I think it was allegations that he had been with underage girls or something like that, okay? Come to find out, later on, the whole, or at least part of it, was orchestrated between the two behind the scenes. Like, I guess he wanted to get back at someone, his ex or his current girlfriend, and Keem participated in that setup situation.
I have no idea what you're talking about. That doesn't even sound legit whatsoever. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have the right to deny it. That's fine.
But,
you know what? It's out there. Just so you know, shit's out there, man.
But I just want to say, like, you participated in supporting a YouTuber, all right, that covered a story on my misery, right? If I supposedly did something wrong, you watched and supported another YouTuber doing exactly what Dromaler does.
I'm hypocritical.
A good point.
Well, and on top of that, and just to kind of reiterate this, like, once again, Phil, you're telling Keemstar that he has the right to deny that because he's saying it didn't happen, even though you're saying there's a mountain of proof in this documentary, right? The same thing is being said to you right now about your WWE legends and everything like that, and you have the right to deny it too, even though there's a mountain of evidence through documentaries online.
Correct. But the difference, Keem, to respond to your point, sorry, there's a lot of points that just came up. The documentary is not just negative stuff about you. Okay, you understand? The documentary is actually covering your entire history. I've learned a lot of things about you that I find very admirable and very positive by watching that. It really did cover factually your rise and all the stuff that's happened and some of the.
How do you know that, though? Factually, how do you know it's factual? I'm just curious. It's on the internet, so it must be true.
I know. Phil, real quick. I mean, I see documentaries on DSP, but you on the show said half of the stuff's not even true. So I'm confused. Is the internet 100% trustworthy or not? Because when it's about me, it's all facts. Right. When it's about you, it's all lies. I'm confused.
It's not all facts, and it's not all lies. It's always somewhere in between, right? We all know that. We're not stupid. We're not born yesterday. When you watch that documentary, you gotta kind of suspend your disbelief. Say, okay, believe it or don't, right? Make your own judgments based on.
So you chose to believe this one when it came to Keem.
In a couple of particular cases, I'm not saying that one documentary is the only thing I've ever heard about Keem. There's been lots of people who've
That's what you're referencing a lot so far. So that's what I'm going on.
Can we come to the conclusion that me and you both have a bad reputation? We're controversial figures, but one of us is wildly more successful?
Oh, I'm not. I wouldn't even say I'm successful at all.
If people would just leave me the fuck alone, I would have had a lot more success.
So
Okay.
like, yeah, sure.
Keemstar, continue with what you were saying. Okay, I think we've established this. Keemstar, continue with what you were talking about leading up to this. You reached out to Boogie, Wings, and DSP. 50 grand on the table to start the podcast. Continue.
So knowing how to help all three of them, all right, and then also creating a business opportunity for myself, right? You know, it is all these things combined. And not only just helping DSP, Wings, and Boogie and myself, because this is a brilliant idea, but it's also helping every single person that's in this chat right now. It's also helping every single one of your haters, every single one of your guys' actual supporters. Everybody wants this content. This is a win. This is a golden opportunity. So knowing this and wanting to reach out to help you, I found you to be so incredibly difficult to work with. Boogie already contacted you and told you that this was about a podcast. I publicly tweeted, reach out to me, $50,000, and you ignored me. Then we finally start talking in DMs, and your response is, well, email me, because I want to set up a call. We're already talking in DMs on Twitter. Why can't we just jump on a call and talk right away? We're already communicating. You tell me to go email you. That is so weird from my perspective. We set up a scheduled time when we're going to call and we're going to talk about this. And I call you during the scheduled time and you don't answer the phone. And then I get a message back saying, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I was streaming. I told you I work at this time. Well, even if that is true and you were streaming, that stream is not more important than my phone call and my opportunity. It's not.
Someone has a business contact line, said, this is the best way to contact me, please do it. But instead you go to your giant audience on Twitter and you just scream, I want DSP to contact me immediately, $50,000 on the line. It's hostile, it's disrespectful, it's unprofessional.
The king of gin, the king of gout.
But him talking shit to me isn't a personal thing, right? It's an opportunity for me to make a Twitter video and make some entertainment for my audience. Like when I go on the internet,
that's how you internet right there.
When I go on the internet, I'm not thinking about, will people like me? Will people hate me? I'm thinking, let me make a piece of content that people will enjoy watching, whether they like me or hate me or whatever. Let me make some piece of content that people are interested in. That's all I ever think about when I come to the internet, is serving viewers. All right.
Is the offer still there for this to happen?
I mean,
if Phil is open to it.
I would say potentially, but not really, right? You know, I took Wings of Redemption and Boogie 2988, who were willing to work with me and understood this business opportunity. And I'm setting up a boxing match between the two of them. And I'm going to break the internet with this. All right. This is an awesome opportunity for Wings, an awesome opportunity for Boogie. This is going to be broadcasted on May 13th. And I haven't even announced this anywhere yet. This is an exclusive. It's going to be free to watch. And
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Of course.
Since I am the guest, right?
Of course.
Yeah, please ask. Yeah.
Keem, you know, again, I understand your reasoning here. You're saying I'm just making content people want to see, right? Is there any line that you won't cross when it comes to content that you think people want to see that you can make profit on? Do you have any kind of restraint? Do you ever feel that morally something is too far? Because I personally and many others hear this about this boxing match coming up. Okay, now let me give you my perspective. Okay. Wings of Redemption, Boogie, two desperate guys. We all know they're down on their luck. They could definitely use some money, right? We all know this. Yes. They publicly project that to the internet. They're both, technically, from what we can see and understand, they're kind of unhealthy. Maybe not. Who knows? But you only know what they project, correct? Do you not feel that having two people like this, overweight, possibly unhealthy, doing a boxing match against each other so that everyone on the internet can laugh at them, could possibly, just possibly, be either putting them in harm's way or maybe be considered morally reprehensible because of the repercussions that could happen during this match?
Do you not think they're adults, that they can make their own decisions, though, Phil?
That's
I'm
fine.
just curious.
I mean, anyone can make their own decisions. That's
I'm
fine.
sorry, Keem. Please answer them.
Let me respond. All right. Every single influencer boxer, whether they're healthy or not, is putting themselves in harm's way for entertainment. They're all warriors, and they all deserve respect. Wings of Redemption and Boogie haven't gotten any respect. In fact, it's disrespect. Very similar to you. All right. And by doing this, they will get respect. Whether people laugh or not, they are going to get respect for jumping in that ring. But you mentioned that they're unhealthy. Of course they're unhealthy. But I can tell you right now, behind the scenes, and nobody knows this, both of them have actively already lost weight training for this fight. This is a positive thing in both of their lives. And I don't think either one of them have the ability to seriously hurt the other. Do you? Do you think they're in real danger by fighting each other? I think these are equal opponents.
This is not a serious boxing match, Keem. They're not boxers. They don't know anything about boxing. These are two overweight guys that are going to go at it, swinging. You know,
are you going to watch?
No.
Yes, you are.
No,
yes,
I'm not. I don't watch that
you.
crap. I don't watch your crap.
Phil,
Phil,
Phil, you know who is going to watch it, Phil?
Everyone else.
Everyone. Great answer. That's exactly what I would have said.
I just don't believe you. It really comes down to what I just said a little while ago. When I look at like making content for the internet and doing stuff like this, my question is, will this serve viewers? And I know it will. I know so many people are going to tune in. I know so many people want to see this. And I don't believe you when you say you're not going to watch this. I think you are going to watch this fight.
Yes, yes, I love it.
You're so mistaken. You have known nothing about me then, dude.
Well, let's ask this, Phil. And this is just my morbid curiosity. If there was an opportunity for you, Phil, to do something physical, box, whatever, I don't know, whatever it may be, that was a kind of a YouTuber versus YouTuber opportunity. Would you be open to that? Open to anything like that?
Wouldn't do it.
No.
That's not what I'm about. I'm on the internet to share my passion for games, to have a cool social interaction with this, my viewers, my fans, whatever you want to call them. I'm not here to make a mockery of myself or, do a publicity stunt. I don't do that kind of stuff. People will say I do, whatever. It's your perspective. From my perspective, I just want to be in my lane with my viewers, doing a good, fun stuff. I have no aspirations of grandeur or anything like that. I don't want to blow up because I did a stupid internet boxing match with someone. It's so stupid to me. Immature,
that's fine, Phil. If I could finish why I'm frustrated and explaining myself.
Continue.
Because, look, this all started with me retiring and you having, a bad opinion on me, and then us having that metaphor of, you being on level 1. I really did retire like a year ago. I pretty much did retire. Now I'm doing DLC, but I'm not paying for the DLC. The DLC is paying me, and I'm doing more and more and more and more stuff in this space because I just love it so much. And it comes from a place of you absolutely loving what you do and loving these video games. You know who else likes video games? Wings and Boogie. You don't think the three of you on a podcast would be a good thing? You guys talking about games, giving your opinions, talking about current events and whatnot. You don't think that's a positive thing?
Keem, I just said right here on the show, I would love to do a show with those guys. I'm friendly with them. Behind the scenes, I have conversations.
So when I couldn't get a hold of you, and I called you multiple times, it wasn't once and you ignored, it was multiple times. I kept calling, I kept DMing you, and you said, oh, I'm streaming now, and da-da-da. A couple weeks went by.
By the way, that's false what he's saying, but I'll let him keep going. It's fine. Whatever. Believe it as fact,
No. We want to hear your perspective. That's what we're doing here.
Did he not call you multiple times?
He called me at least once, maybe twice, but I think it was just once. It could have been twice.
The amount of times that you've said during this interview that you don't really remember is shocking.
Because I don't document this stuff. Why do I care?
But how can you say with such certainty that it wasn't you, or that he didn't call, or that all these things if constantly? I'm just calling it out. I'm not trying to come at you, but I've just noticed that a lot. So now
That's
you
fine.
say actually he called maybe twice. Could it have been 3 times? Could it have been 4 times?
It definitely
you didn't even notice.
4. It was 1 or 2.
How do I know?
3 or 4.
I'm just
Well,
I specifically remember when he called me during a stream, and I'm like, who's calling me? And then when I went on a break, I opened my phone. I'm like, this must be him because I don't have his phone number. I'm assuming this must be him because of you get locations tied to phone numbers or whatever. And I'm like, why is he calling me when I gave him these specific times to call me? He's calling me when I said I was busy.
But even then, Phil, you may be busy, but there's a call worth potentially 50 grand plus more on the backside of this that could take 10 minutes. I mean, and once again, your true fans will understand. Look, I had to get on a phone call. This is a really important business call. I appreciate you guys. And you know what? They're going to stay there with you. They're going to stay there watching because they want to know what's happening. They want to know more about this. Like the idea of not taking a call just because you're streaming, like your fans will understand that, man.
No, and again, I didn't even know that was him. I didn't have his number. I'm checking after the fact during a break or whatever. But the fact that this guy can't call me when I'm giving him the times to call was baffling to me. So first, he won't. The true interaction here, I had to DM him. He wouldn't contact me. I had to DM him. He would not talk further in the DM about what this was until I demanded it. I'm like, dude, just tell me what you're talking about to see if I'm interested. I don't want to get on a call with you unless you just say, what if he had said something I'm totally not interested in at all? I could say, no, we're not even bothering with it. He wouldn't. I had to pull strings to get him to even say, okay, I want you to be like a host on a show. And then he wouldn't even talk any further. He demanded a phone call. I give him my number. I give him the specific times to call. He calls the wrong times.
Well,
right?
According to what I hear from Keem, hold on, I just want to say this real quick. According to what I'm hearing from Keem, he was going to put up $150,000 to do a show with 3 guys. Like, that's a risk. That's him investing a lot of his income to try to help these guys, for including yourself. And I think a phone call, wanting to do it over a phone call, is like that's nothing in comparison to what he's trying to do. All right, I just need to say that.
And Phil, listen.
Do you want to know why I don't like the phone call idea? Why I wanted it in writing? Would you like to know?
In just a second, Keemstar, go ahead.
Phil, now that we're talking about this and we're communicating for the first time back and forth, all right, I can tell just by how you're reacting and what you're saying back to me that you actually understand that this was a great opportunity. And that's why we needed to be on the phone, is so we could actually communicate. We could hear each other's voice. We could talk this thing out. You can ask me questions. The text conversation, the emails back and forth, all right? That's not like really how business gets done. That's how contracts get done. That's how managers communicate back and forth and do deals. But like when we're at the very beginning of an idea and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with this business, it has to be like real communication back and forth in a phone call, like it is right now.
This guy has like no social skills whatsoever.
So that's why it was so important for me to get on the phone with you.
Okay.
Do you agree or disagree? Does it make sense to you, Phil?
What I was going to say was the reason I wanted it in writing was very simple. All right. Again, you have to understand, Keem, you have a lot of stuff that's said about you on the internet. You know that. We've agreed to that.
But
right?
so do you.
I'm so sick of hearing that from you.
It's so frustrating.
If I'm
going to
deal with this guy, if I'm going to deal with this guy, I want our conversation in writing. Because what's to stop me from getting on the phone with Keem, having a conversation, and the next thing I know, he completely lies about what we just talked about to get drama on his content.
Phil, that's like me going to Craig. Like, hell no. I hear all this about Phil. I don't want him to come up here and start fucking wanking it on the show live. You know what I mean? That's like me believing it's on the internet when I think this was actually it was a tough, but it was a good show. You know, and it was a chance for you to come clean and like really try to tackle some of the shit that's out there. But it's like you're using the same kind of shit people have been using against you, but you're using it against Keemstar. It doesn't make any sense.
King of hypocrisy.
I don't listen. I don't trust
you do hear it. You do see it, right?
Him. I do not trust Keem.
But once again,
you don't know me. We've never even talked.
How do you not trust the man when you're getting your information from the internet? The internet is not a real place.
I can tell you this. I do business with the biggest content creators on this entire planet, all right? I don't just run a show called Drama. I develop video games. I represent YouTubers. I get them brand deals. One of my companies represents the biggest streamer on the planet. I have a long business history with FaZe, Mr. Beast. Like, you don't know anything about me. You don't, right? But if we had a conversation and you got to learn about me and what I've done and the business opportunities that I've created for this industry for the last 15 years, your opinion of me would be wildly different than you watching a drama documentary about me, something that you're against. Like, this is blood money. But that's where you got your information from.
It talked a lot positively about you. Why do you think I watched a drama video about you? That's not what I watched.
So it talked positively about me, but by watching it, you had a negative view of me.
That is correct.
If I could finish, because I'm almost done with representing, my point in all this. I called him multiple times. I couldn't get a hold of him. It rubbed me the wrong way right from the beginning when he was trying to send me to an email, which made no sense to me. And I think 2 weeks roughly went by, and I went on YouTube, and because I was looking up DsP stuff, doing research for the podcast, the algorithm sent his live stream in my feed. So I tune into it. And I'm telling you, the minute I tuned in, I saw Phil begging for money to pay rent and utilities. And I just lost it in his chat. I'm like, I cannot believe that you're doing this right now. 2 weeks ago, I was trying to get a hold of you, offering you the greatest opportunity you've ever been offered in your entire career. Phil, if this podcast was a success, all right, everyone in the chat and you are looking at $50,000. It wouldn't be $50,000. This podcast would make millions. It would be a wild success. It would be a brand. This is something that would be clipped on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram. People would talk about this, just like you're being clipped on your little live stream now, except for we would have an opportunity to monetize it.
Phil, do you understand kind of the obviously, I think what Keem is saying, he has this business experience, right? He's offering you an opportunity. You turn the other way, but there's a lot of things that you're saying today. You're talking about Keem making mistakes, saying things, doing business the wrong way, that can also be said about yourself. And the things that you're saying are very, I mean, it's like holding a mirror up to yourself, because I feel like there's actually a lot of similarities between Keemstar making mistakes, you've made mistakes, things that we touched on during this podcast, right? You do understand the similarities between what your argument is for not wanting to work with him and the reason why you have so many detractors.
Sure. What I would say is the difference between me and Keem, outside of wild amount of popularity difference, is that if you take a look at the body of work that I've done in the 15 years I've done it, all right, you would say, has Phil ever really outright, with anything he's done, actually concretely hurt someone to the point where, like, you know, wow, what a heinous person. People will say that about Keem. They will say that about Keem, okay? And at the end of the day, when I have to make business decisions about who I'm going to associate with and who I'm not going to, that's a factor. And it's a moral factor for me. It has nothing to do with Keem's business sense. Keem, you are a great businessman. Everyone knows that. I think you would actually run the podcast very, very well. I do. I would love to do this podcast with Boogie and Wings. I have a problem with you morally, dude, with the content you put out. I do. And
I'm gonna let him respond. Let him respond to that.
Listen, you just said that you've never hurt anyone, right? And you talking trash doesn't hurt me. That's just an opportunity, right? But when you treated me the way you did behind the scenes, this sounds like bull coming from me, but you hurt me. I was offended. I was hurt. Like, why are you treating me like this? Why can't you treat me like a man, and why can't we have a conversation? If you came to the conclusion that, no, I don't want to do this, this isn't right for me, that's fine. But you really showed me no respect at all. It was so disrespectful how you were treating me, making me email. I have to call at a certain time. I'm calling and you're not answering the phone. And then when people were asking, your fans asking online, why didn't you do this podcast with Keem? During this whole time, I forgot to mention this, he was still talking bad about me publicly.
Keem, you just said it. Like, just what you just described is probably the main reason I have a problem with you.
You are someone who has no self-awareness, and you think that you're the most important thing. That's like me. Breathe!
You tweeted on your Twitter that I should contact you about a business opportunity. No one does that. They contact the person about the business opportunity directly.
We all do it. We all do it.
Yeah,
It's the internet, Phil.
Phil, it's
like,
the internet, man.
Like
Yeah.
you said, you've been doing this for 15 years, but like, do you not understand the way algorithms work, the way anger is addictive, and how people are hooked on crazy shit? Go ahead.
I want no part of that drama. I
Phil,
don't want to be
Phil,
on a
Phil, can you-
podcast that is going to be about that. I don't want to be involved with someone
That's not what he was.
he's-
I don't even
this
know
is
what the podcast
egomaniacal
was
what
going to
he's
be about.
saying. He's being egomaniacal. I have to just listen
Phil,
to what he
I'm
said.
not.
Keem,
Phil.
you just said my whole life should have stopped because you wanted to contact me. Really?
I did
my
not say
whole
that.
Life. You
No,
just
he didn't
said
say that.
answer
I
the
did
call
not
at
say
any
that.
time. Even though I
Phil,
gave you the times to call me.
Can
Answer
I
the
give
call
you
at
some
any time at
context?
all.
My mouth is full of salt.
But the content creators, which we are both content creators, we are on the same level. I'm not higher than you. You're not higher than me. We have a mutual respect as content creators. We should be able to be in Twitter DMs and then get on a phone call. And you didn't treat me like that. You treated me like dirt. This is not about me thinking I'm God. This is about how you treated me in those Twitter DMs.
Keem, I gave you the times to call. You called at different times, and we never had another interaction ever again. How was I disrespectful to you?
So when they ask me, is this opportunity, still available? When I say maybe, because like, I don't know how I could work with you. You are very, very difficult to work with, to even communicate with, firsthand.
Because I didn't drop everything to talk to you, I'm difficult to communicate with, even though I have
what are you dropping?
publicly listed ways to contact me.
Please explain to me what you're dropping. Like, what is so important that's happening that you can't get on a phone call with me?
My work, my job. I'm here 6 days a week, full-time streaming to make a living.
But this job that I'm about to offer you would pay wildly more and solve all these problems that you have going on.
First of all, you don't know what it's going to solve. That's a huge assumption. Second of all, I didn't know what the thing was because you never told me. You didn't call at the time you were supposed to.
Didn't
We're
Boogie
going
give
in a
you?
We are
give
going
you-
in a loop. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's happened a lot on this episode so far.
Right. So look, I think let's leave it here, right? A bridge has been gapped. You know, we brought a bridge together, right? I don't know if something's going to come from this with Keem and Phil, and there's obviously still friction there, and that's fine.
Let me put it this way: if it weren't Keem, because again, I already had a negative association in my head of who Keem is. I had really very little interest in doing any work with him. If it was someone else, maybe I would have. But that's the association I had. I had a moral issue working with the guy, so it wasn't a big deal to me that he was reaching out to me.
Before I leave, because I'm pretty much done, I've expressed everything that I want.
I appreciate it, Keem.
Can I give you some criticism? I don't condone people harassing you, people doxing you, people going into your private life and doing all this horrible stuff that they've done. But I believe the reason why this has happened is because people don't trust you. You don't come across as trustworthy.
Bravo. Bravo.
So when you're on stream and you're asking to pay utilities and rent and all that stuff, the audience is getting frustrated and they look at you like you're a scammer and they want to know where this money is going. Well, how is he always in this situation? What is he spending his money on? And that is the motivation to dive into your personal life. You had an opportunity on this show, and I watched it, to just pull up the screenshot and show the WWE account. And you didn't do it. Your internet cut off. At that point, when your internet cut off and you were DDoSed and you were gone off stream, the opportunity is now gone. It's gone. Because while your internet was out, you could have made a fake screenshot. All right. You're never, ever going to be able to prove what your WWE account was or is ever again, because people will say he just photoshopped it. He just made it up. You're never going to be able to prove that
anyway.
You had one opportunity to do it right away with these guys, and that was it. And you didn't take advantage of it, because I personally, watching it, and so did the audience, thought that you were lying. And if you are lying, if it is true and you're not being honest, if I were you, this is the best advice I could give you, right? Is just be like, look, this was my account. This is that. I would ask for a clean slate and I would do things different, because this restarting level 1 over and over and over again is the root of all your problems, if that makes any sense.
I appreciate the input. It's not true, so I'm not going to do that. But I appreciate the input. If it were true, I would fess up to it.
And I play a game called WWE Champions, which, of all things, you can believe it, is a WWE game that plays like Candy Crush.
But I wanted to play some audio. This is actually, I reached out to several of your detractors, Phil, and I thought it would be fair to allow them to ask questions. So I wanted to play this for you, and we'll just kind of go from there. Okay? Does that sound good?
Sure. Fire away.
Are you okay with that?
I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're saying, obviously. So.
Well, this is from It's a Gundam. Are you familiar with that name?
I'm familiar with the name, and I'm definitely familiar with the voice.
Okay, well, you're gonna know the voice. So here you go. This is a question from him.
Hey there, Philly cheesesteak. Guess who it is? Your favorite YouTuber. We're best friends. Remember that time you thought it'd be funny to put a restraining order on me, Filbert? Well, Philly, my question is, what the hell did you spend $500,000 on? You didn't pay off your house. You didn't pay off the condo. You didn't pay off any car you own. You're in debt. Where did the money go? Why did you take business loans? What did you use the business loan money for? You never improved your content. You've been using the same camera for nigh on 5,000 years. If it wasn't for, like, the Dutch brothers sending you a new web camera or, like, LEDs in the background, you'd have no ideas. Where'd the money go? You're like a politician in San Francisco. If I went to the man, I said, Mayor of San Francisco, where did all that money go, that $120 million you defunded the police with and put into black communities? Where did it go? You know, Phil, you screwed up. You never should have been a YouTuber. You should have been a politician in San Francisco. You would have gotten away with it, baby. If it wasn't for those meddling detractors.
Is it gonna end? At some point.
Right, it's over now.
It's actually not too late. I mean, politicians tend to be older.
Mm-hmm. Look, that was a long question. I think my first question after that is,
I think we handled that though already. We talked about that shit.
Well, but the 500,000. That's the first I've heard of that figure. Where is that?
No, I mentioned it earlier. We talked about it. And
Could be the bankruptcy. I'm not sure.
And I asked him, and if it was the bankruptcy, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you taken out any business loans? And if so, what were they used for?
Business loans? No. Everything, all that debt that got written off was credit cards and stuff. Now I'm trying to think. Oh, I had personal loans, not business loans. I've never taken out any kind of loan officially in the name of the business or anything like that. Mm-hmm. No.
Silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
Okay. Is there anything else, like, I don't know. It's very rarely do you have an opportunity to kind of interact with.
Did he used to be on the Howard Stern show? His voice is so familiar to me. He used to be. Was he that clown guy? Seriously, he sounds just like him. He sounds just like him. Now I don't know. He's one of the many detractors who make videos about me. I've literally never watched a video of his. So I really don't have anything to say.
Do you think that by not watching his videos, you're like, do you think that if you were to spend time watching their videos, you'd be able to react and, you know, you have a reaction channel. Don't you think there's an entire niche market of you reacting to negative content about yourself?
Perhaps in the future, yes. Now that I'm doing that, it's only been in operation for a month. It's something that I would consider dabbling in the future. The thing is, there is something with these detractors. The more attention you give them, just the worse it gets. It eggs them on to do more. So my opinion is people are not coming to my channel to see this. They don't care about that. They want to see gameplay. They want to see whatever. I don't want to inundate them with that stuff, so I don't address it. You know.
Okay. I was going to say a new show idea, the detractor reactor.
Yeah, maybe that should be something we do. A whole
pretty good
show where I react to detractor
I've given you 2 good show names so far.
I did react to the original This Is How You Don't Play last year. So just want to talk about talking 2 sides of the fence of how it's completely unfair how I'm treated. The guy tried to take it off the internet, so I couldn't react to it. Everyone else had done it, but when I went to do it myself, oh no, you can't do that, Phil. Like, what are you talking about? It's fair use. You
gotta download it. Gotta download it next time.
Well, someone gave it to me, so.
Can we talk about that though, real quick? Have you ever tried to remove reactive content for your business that people have reacted from?
Reactive content. So you're saying someone actually watching my content and reacting to it,
or just posted clips of it?
The only time that I have tried to ever take anyone down was straight up ripping the raw content and illegally reposting it with absolutely no transformative work whatsoever added to it. The moment that someone's there and they're talking about it, that's transformative. I know, because everyone does it. There's a judge that made a ruling on that. The only way that really legally you should be able to take anything down is if they just right now, if they rip this raw podcast from side scrolls and put it on their channel, no context, no commentary, that's illegal. Everything else is fine. So no, I've never tried to do that at all to anything that's reactive content or reacting content like that. No.
So I understand that, right? And technically, legally, you are correct. Right. But this goes back to, like, this is the internet, and the internet. I know that people are going to take this episode, and like, I'm sure Gundam and Keem and all sorts of people are going to go and they're going to make content based off of this content. But ultimately, and we could get upset about that because legally, right. But ultimately, that's going to help the show. That will benefit side scrollers because more people know about side scrollers. Right. Phil, would you be open to coming back on again?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. We could do like a part 2. And just kind of hit on more of those things, right? Because I want to be conscious of everybody's time. All right, well, let's do this. We'll schedule a part 2 for some time down the line, right? And you know, get you on for a part 2. But in the meantime, what is the one thing that you wish you could address right now that we haven't addressed today?
Oh my gosh. You know,
well, the first thing you just said was that groom and shit. Like, what's up with that? Because I don't like it.
It's blatantly false. It's my ex. I met, she contacted me. I never contacted her. She contacted me via YouTube DMs when they were a thing. That's how long ago this was, over a decade ago. She was an adult, a legal adult. We spoke for months before we ever started dating. People say I met her when she was like 16 and I groomed her for years. I never even spoke to her until after she was 18. It's a complete and bold-faced lie, okay? Another thing. I'm sorry that I have to bring this up, but I talked with my wife about it. I want to get this out in the open. People say that I'm some kind of a horrible woman abuser, and basically I groom these women and I bring them into my, to my personal life. My wife and I met online, casually talking for a few months before we ever started dating or anything like that, okay? Basically, she was in a really bad place in her life, an abusive relationship. She got out of that relationship, and once she did, then we started talking a little bit more romantically, and then things pursued. People made stuff up and said that I basically stole her from her ex and that he's a victim. It's funny, because when you look on the internet, they will find all this public information about me and my personal life. They'll find my bankruptcy, they'll find all these statements. Did you ever find the restraining order that she had against her ex because he was hitting her? Right? But, make him look like a good guy on the internet, right? Which is what they've done. My detractors have actually done this. They've gone into her personal life with her family. She has nothing to do with me or my content. Stop. If you're going to mess with me, that's one thing. Leave my family, leave my everyone out of it. Make fun of me. Put the brunt on me. It's one of my biggest regrets as a content creator. I never meant for anyone to get hurt doing this. Never. I feel awful that my wife every day is feeling awful about things going on. Like, why are they saying these things about her? She has nothing to do with any of this. Leave her out of it, all right? Just all this stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's a million other things. There'll be a part 2. We'll get to it then. But those are 2 things that have always been horrible to women. If anything, you will never ever, 1,000,000%, you will never find someone on the internet saying that Phil was in a sex scandal, Phil was abusive to women in the past. I have never done that in my life. 1,000,000%. But they want to say it, and it really irks me the wrong way. So,
I understand. All right. Well, look, I think this is a great place to stop. Like I said, let's definitely. I'll email you.
Oh my God, he's drinking donations. There's still this back here, and it's still in the back of my neck, the back of my head, the back of my mind, and it's always telling me it's WWE Champions time. I love it. I I love it. Is a mobile game addict. Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone, just gone like that. In an instant, fucking gone. I just care about money. I just can't help it. I eBay. Contributions are mandatory, but I need your help. I am appealing directly to you. No decency, no respect, no common sense, no fucking maturity. Is the guy who just doesn't get reality.